Hello and welcome to the Be the CEO of Your Life live show. I'm Yvonne Dam of Amaze Yourself Coaching, and I help driven entrepreneurs to make more impact, make more money, and have more time so you can enjoy your life. And today I'm very pleased because we have a very special broadcast, and Mildred is with me. Hi, Mildred.
Hi, Yvonne. Good to be.
I'm very excited about it because I've been seeing Mildred here on LinkedIn, and I've seen some of her videos that really made an impact. But she also told me that, well, coming month actually is a very special month because it was a very traumatic experience you went through 2 years ago. But before we take a deep dive, can you please introduce yourself to the people that are watching?
Sure. So I am Mildred Talabi. I am a wife, a mom of two girls, and I am a LinkedIn visibility coach. And what that means is I specialize in particular in teaching female coaches, especially new and early stage coaches, how to leverage LinkedIn to attract your first 1 to 3 paying clients. So it's really to help you build a complete foundation that will help support your business and your marketing when you're starting out as a coach and in your early years. And I love it. I love working with women to do this stuff, and I get a great buzz out of it. So yeah.
I love it. I love that you're saying I'm getting a great buzz out of it because that's so important, isn't it? To really feel and do something that lights you up. I really love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so I put in the topic, and you have an amazing story to share. We were already talking a bit about it, but you had a brain tumor. And not just a brain tumor, but it was also in a place that it really affected your daily life. So can you tell us a bit about what happened? And yeah.
Sure. Okay. So yeah, it's something, and this is why I think it's really important for us to tell our stories, especially as women in business and on a platform like LinkedIn. Is because you can see people, you can see their posts, you can see their videos, you can see them smiling, happy, you can see them doing well, but you have no idea what they've been through, what they're going through, and what they've overcome. And I believe each and every one of us has a story that's worth telling, that's worth hearing. So, and I realize that I don't tell mine very often, but next month, which is September 2021, it's coming up to my 2 year anniversary of being brain tumor free. So even sometimes when I say it, it still kind of sounds weird because having a brain tumor is not something that I ever thought would happen to anyone I know, let alone myself.
Yeah.
So and it's just one of those things. But it was 2019 is when it happened. So September 2019 is when I actually had the surgery. But in May, 25th of May, I remember the day. It was just I kind of woke up one day and I had this intense headache, literally pounding. My head and neck was just pounding. And I thought, okay, maybe I just slept wrong, maybe I just woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Let's pop a few pills and get on with life. But the pills didn't help and the pain didn't go away, not just for that day, not the next day, not the day after that. Literally for about 4 months solid, I was
Wow.
I was living in daily excruciating pain. It would come and go. And when it came, it would like grip my entire head, like I would be in like a seizure, and I would be like, just I couldn't function. So I tried everything, went to ambulance many times. I went to emergency, everything, and they couldn't find out what was wrong with me. And they gave me an appointment for November to see a neurologist. This was in May, right? This is May, and they gave me an appointment to see a neurologist in November. I'm like, how am I gonna live? I've got 2 little kids who need me. I have a husband, I have a job, I got a business. What do I? But that was the best that they could do for me. So at one point I went private to an osteopath, and he did all kind of cracking my neck and all that stuff, which temporarily helped, but the problem didn't go away. So I knew something was wrong. I just didn't know what was wrong. And then one day on my way to work, because at the time I was still an employee, I've always had one foot in the world of work and one foot in the world of business for in my entire career. So at this time, I was working for an organization, the air ambulance actually, and I was on the way to work, driving on the motorway. It's about half an hour drive from my house, but I go through fast-paced motorways. And as I'm driving, this pain starts to hit me, and I'm driving, and I couldn't. I'm seeing the cars coming at me only after they've passed. I'm like, what is going on? Something is happening. I'm starting to lose my vision, and somehow I end up at work in the car park. Tried to call one of my colleagues, tried to call the ambulance, and I just collapsed in the car park, fell out of my car, collapsed, and
Oh my
and
goodness, I'm getting goosebumps.
no, it was scary. I didn't know what was going on, and it's just I was vomiting apparently all over the place and deluded and feverish, and I woke up in the hospital, and the first hospital I woke up at, they said, okay, we've had a look at your head and we found something, and it's kind of beyond our ability, so we're going to send you to St. George's Hospital in London, which is like a specialist hospital where they deal with brain and tumors and all of that. At the time, obviously, I didn't know what was going on. So they called my husband and everything and took me over to St. George's Hospital. And then that's when they kind of gave the diagnosis. They're like, okay, we found something in your head and it's actually a tumor. So, and we're going to need to operate. So basically, you're not going home. I'm like, okay. So it was like it was shocking. It was a shocking diagnosis. It was like something I never would have expected. I knew something was wrong, but I never put it together that it could be something that bad, that extreme. But that's how I got the verdict on that day, So 2nd of September.
So, but in a way, I'm happy to hear that nothing happened. I mean, you were driving on the motorway, and it sounds like not a situation you want to be in, and still you made it, and luckily nobody got hurt. And but then collapsing, oh my word, it really sounds scary. And how long were you in hospital for?
So I ended up staying in hospital almost for the entire month of September 2019. So I went in on the 2nd and I came out on the 26th. So there was time to all kinds of preparing me for the operation, and then having the operation. I spent a few days in intensive care as well, and then I had some time in, trying to rehabilitate me, with physios, etc., to get back on my feet. So yeah.
And then you got out, and then life back to normal, or what happened? What did it do with you? Because I'm already shaking up just hearing the story. And you have 2 little girls. Your husband is there, but I'm assuming you're both working. So all of a sudden you're out for a whole month. So this must have had a major impact.
It definitely had a major impact because my husband is like, he's gold, like he's awesome. So he literally had to become mum, dad, hairdresser, chef, everything.
My husband is the same. The hair, yeah.
Yeah, the hair. And that's one of the things. I'm sitting there, I'm in the hospital, but I'm like, who's going to do their hair? I know, such important things in life, of course. I think part of it also because as I was saying to you offline, my older daughter, she was turning 5. Is she 5? Yeah, 5 at the time. So she was starting school for the very first time, primary school, and it was like a whole big deal, She'd been in nursery, she's growing up, and we planned all of this kind of exciting things. I was going to take her on the school run, and I missed the entire first month of her starting school. I wasn't there to try on the uniforms. I wasn't there to do her hair. I wasn't there to hold her hand at the gate. My husband was there, which is great, but I wanted to be part of that experience and I wasn't able to. So that kind of hurt me a little bit, but, so it was a huge disruption, but it had the other side of the coin is that I've never felt so much love and support in my life as in that period, like literally from all corners of the world, family, friends, neighbors, church members. I had neighbors literally walking me because part of my recovery when I came out is I wasn't allowed to go out on my own, because it wasn't safe for me. I could just collapse at any time. So I had neighbors literally walking me places, coming, knocking for me, making sure I'm okay. And it's just, it was just the whole gathering of everybody around this was it. I'll never forget that, you know. It's just a beautiful experience.
It's making me tearing up. So yeah, I can understand that it must have been a great feeling. Yeah. And did you make any changes in your life after this?
Yeah, so the thing is, while I was in the hospital bed, it's one of the things my husband and I have always tried to do, especially from the time we had kids, because both of our daughters suffer from severe eczema. You know, it's getting better. So for anyone who knows what that's like, it's a challenging situation, very hands-on. You know, so from the beginning, we both committed to being present, to being there as much as possible. So it was always that we never worked full time. He cut down his hours increasingly part time so he can be around, and same with me. So we already started taking steps towards what we call now a semi-retired lifestyle, whereby you're not waiting to your 65, 70, 80 and can't do anything to start living the kind of life that you want. You know, you start now. So we'd already started making steps in that direction. And then in that hospital bed, lying there for those 4 weeks, I had a really clear, it was a spiritual experience in so many ways as well. And I had a really clear vision of the kind of life that I wanted for myself, you know. And that life didn't involve working for someone else, you know. It really involved, it's like the freedom to be present, to look after my health, to be there for the girls, to have quality time with my husband. Because another thing as well, in that month, we celebrated our 12-year anniversary, and we weren't able to do it because I'm there in hospital, tubes all over the place, you know. So it was
celebration.
Exactly, that was not a celebration at all. You know, I was celebrating being alive. That was good. So, but it was just, he really gave me this clear picture of the kind of life that I wanted to live, you know. So when I did come out of the hospital and I started going back to work again, and what I was trying to go back to work, but it's like slowly rebuilding what kind of work life do I want for myself. And that's how coaching and doing what I do now really just kind of fits in the picture, because it gives me everything that I want, the freedom, the financial independence, and you know, it's the life that I envision. I'm still working towards it, but it's the life that I saw in that bed coming to pass now, you know.
I love it. So Carl is watching and he's also finding it very inspiring. Thanks for sharing, Carl. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm so happy that you're sharing this, Mildred, because I think too often it's almost as if we need to go through something painful and life altering before we see the light. Might be a bit dramatic, but before we finally allow ourselves, in what I see, almost to choose for ourselves. I had a severe burnout, and I know I can't even compare to a tumor. It's not about comparing, but I know that if I now look back, and it's over 15 years ago, but I needed that. I needed to be grounded. And I had been on the couch for months thinking about it. I was writing about it this morning. Even reading the newspaper was already tiring. You know, I've read the newspaper, I need to go to bed. Now you go like, well, that's silly. But I think for me, that has helped me to really come to grips with what you're saying. I don't want my entire life to be around work. You know, I really want to live, not to you say that, to live to work, not work. No, I always say it wrong. Anyway, you get what I mean, right?
Yeah.
And for me, that has really inspired me to help because I was actually a workaholic, but to help other people who are so into their work, to show them, like you've experienced yourself, there's so much more you can do. And often we then start our own business like you did. Well, you already had it, but you focused on it completely. And then what I often see, and I'm curious to see how that went for you, is then we start our own business because we want the freedom. We no longer want to work for someone, so we start our own business, and then we start over again. We create another hamster wheel where everything needs to be around work because this is our own business. Now it needs to happen. we fall in a trap. Did that happen to you as well, or were you able to maintain those boundaries and that semi-retired lifestyle? How did it go?
Okay, that's such a great question. It's like, so as I said, I in my entire career, I kind of what I call side hustled, for about 12 years or so. So I had different forms of business on the side. The LinkedIn coaching, that's in January 2020, that's really kicked off, but I had other types of business. And I had this mindset that, and people say you work 9 to 5 and then you work 5 to 9 on your business. And so it's this whole, you put in all the hours and you work hard and you grind, and that kind of mentality is what I originally went into business with.
Yeah.
And that is so dangerous. Oh my God, it's so dangerous. I was really blessed that I had a coach when I did transition to LinkedIn coaching. I had a business coach. One of the early things I did was hire a business coach. And she said one thing to me that really changed everything. She said, listen, you have to first plan your life, then fit the business around it. I was like, huh. No one's ever said that to me before, quite in that way, because everyone's like, you put in the hours in 30 and you hustle and you grind. And so it was like a step back, it was like, okay, so what kind of life do I want to live? And I don't know if you've heard that story of, there's this analogy that always goes around about putting stones and sand in a glass kind of thing. So if you put the stones in first, then the sand will fit around it. But if you do it the other way around and you put the sand in, the stones won't fit. So it's kind of like your life has to be the stones that goes into the glass first. And then your business, somehow it fits.
Yeah.
It absolutely fits. It fits around it, So I work at the most about 5 hours a day, because when my kids are at school, after I do the school run and I come back and it's like, okay, I do my work and then I'll go and pick them up. And then I like to have a leisure time sometimes,
Yeah.
And I work less hours and earn a whole lot more than I've ever done in all the times I was hustling and grinding and trying to do it all. So I really, really feel like we needed to say this a lot more, that plan your life first and then fit your business around it, because however you start your business is how you have to continue. So if you're getting 6 figures and you're getting that on 60, 70, 80-hour work weeks, then you're going to have to continue doing 60, 70, 80-hour work weeks to maintain those 6 figures, or even to go higher if you want to earn more. And it's not sustainable in the long run, So yeah, balance is important when you turn it the other way around.
I love that. I love it. Yeah, I'm totally with you. It's really plan your life, and I like the what you're saying about the big stones first, and then smaller, and then the sand. It's really, really true. It's I use that a lot, and there are all these amazing videos about it. But it's very true, and we often think, and also like you're saying, it's what everybody around us makes us believe, right? Oh, you're your own business, so you need to work hard. But if you think about it, almost nobody started his own business so they can work extra. No, everybody started so they can work less, yet everybody is working more. So I really love that you bring that up. And it's something that I also fell for, and that's why I'm now helping people to stop that, to really, really enjoy their life more. And for me, and that's what I'm starting in September with this new program, because I know that a lot of people struggle with this, right? And it's also, we talk about it and we joke about it as the business is the sand. But for a lot of people, it doesn't feel like sand. It feels important and there's pressure because you need to make the money. But I know that some pieces of your business are more important than others. That's where a lot of people kind of lose track, because they think everything is important, which is totally not the case. And that's what I'm starting in September, to really help people to get, okay, what's important, what's going to help me attract those clients, and what do I focus on, and everything else I can do later or I can skip. And that's just an amazing feeling.
Yes.
So, what I recall from a couple of your videos that I found really inspiring is that this is not just one way where you look different at things like I do, but you've got another vision as well about making money quick, right? Or not so quick. So talk to me about your philosophy which you use in your business, because I think that's also a big differentiator. And again, something not a lot of entrepreneurs like to talk about because it's not always that sexy, although it is.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, because we were speaking about this. So it's this idea of this whole get rich quick scheme and 6 figures in 6 days, and especially in with the internet, and yeah, and it's funny actually, and especially it's really hard with coaches, how to build a 7-figure coaching business in just 12 weeks or all of that kind of stuff. And it's just, you hear it, and it makes you kind of think, oh, I'm not getting 7 figures in 12 weeks. What am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
Exactly. What am I doing wrong? So, and what you don't know is like the ins and outs of some of them. Absolutely, they're making us claim, but nobody. I'll tell you this: nobody built a 7-figure business in 12 weeks. Don't believe that one. Nobody did it in 12 weeks. But it's just this whole idea of like taking it slowly. Building foundations. Foundations is so important because you can shoot up. If you look at there's a principle in the Bible about sowing seeds and all of that, and depending on which ground the seed falls on. So some ground you put the seed in, if it's like a stony ground, the seed might shoot up a little bit and then it will die. If it's a ground where there's like, it's on a pathway, the birds might come and eat it, so the seed is gone. But when you plant in like a good ground where the soil is right, the seed, it might take it time, but it will grow, and it will grow into a full tree or whatever it's supposed to become. So it's like, I walk my clients through the slow method of, let's do the foundation, because this is important. You don't just want to build a business that, okay, yes, you're hot off the mark and it's go, go, go. And then in 2 years' time, if you even make it to 2 years, you don't have a business. Because most entrepreneurs fail within 3 years. And I believe a lot of that is because the foundation isn't built properly. And when you don't have that foundation, you're not going to survive the long run. You're not going to survive the first point of adversity. Every few months, there's at least one point where I feel like quitting the business, and like, and that's normal for most entrepreneurs. Like, you feel like, why am I doing this? Why can't I just go and get a job, But if you don't have the right foundations in place and that feeling comes, you are going to quit. You are not going to make it through the next stage. So I really believe in this whole, take your time, build the foundations properly, build the foundations of your business properly, build the foundations on LinkedIn properly. Don't just think, all right, I want to see how viral I can get. I want to get 10,000 followers, in 2 months. No. Build relationships one at a time. Take your time, slow down, do it properly, and you won't have to do it again, or you will have something that actually lasts. So that's definitely my philosophy when it comes to life and business. Take your time, build it properly, and it will last, because that's what's important.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. And I also love that you're kind of busting a lot of these myths, make 7 figures in, what did you say? I don't know. It's just, whenever you hear those stories, and you're so right, even reading them, you go a bit like, why do they, and why am I? And especially when you're still in that treadmill and working, you go like, oh my God, I work so hard, yet what am I making? And it seems like they don't do anything. They just smile, and all of a sudden the money comes pouring in. And especially when they sell it, like, the money comes all I do is I show up and all it comes in. And you go, I show up as well. What, And I sometimes I think, why? Because it's there's always a story to it. It's a lot of the times people already have like a previous business, or they have something else, but the foundation, like you said, the ground that is more open to receiving the seeds is already there, and that on which it takes time. And I also love that you're saying build a great network, because when you have a network in place, it is gold. It's, we were chatting about it because I used to live in London like you did. And I've lived in South Africa, I lived in the States, I've got friends in Paris, I've got friends all over the world. And it's so, for me, that makes a difference. If somebody comes to me and they ask me, I need some help in this country, do you know someone? There's always either I know someone or I know someone who knows someone. And I think that's just, with the internet now, it's one of the amazing things. But if everything seems very superficial and you don't really build those relationships, then it's going to be very hard to, connect people, but also to do business. Because for me, that's the fun part, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, that's it. Relationships are, there's a quote around relationships being currency, something like that. But it's so key. It's so key. And as I said, even when I went through my brain tumor process, it's like it was the relationships in my life that really sprang up. It was the 2 minutes that I spent saying hi to the neighbor down the road and having a little conversation about their dog or their farm or whatever it is that they're doing, that later led to the fact that when I was in need, they're there. You know, so people are there for you because you have relationship, and you're not building a relationship just because you want it to be reciprocated. You're doing it because that's what we're meant to do as humans: connect with each other, build relationships. And it's so it's definitely. I feel like that is important. Even in the way that I approach business, and it's like I really struggled with seeing the language around certain things. So I don't refer to people who are going to work with me as leads, because I don't like that stuff. I'm not against anybody else who does. It just doesn't work for me. I like to talk about people as if they're human beings. So every lead that you have is an actual person. Every lead on your newsletter list, every number is a real human being. So I like to think and talk about people that way, because people matter. People really matter to me. So yeah.
I like it a lot. So before I forget, because we're going to round up, this is where people can find you, right? On LinkedIn, Mildred Talabi. If you type it in, if you're not on LinkedIn, type it in and you'll pop up, or copy this link, because it's always good to be connected to you. And like you said, you're an amazing coach. You especially help female entrepreneurs who just started their coaching business. So really, but if you just want to chat with Mildred, reach out, because as you can tell, that's what she's all about. Now, before we round up, Mildred, is there any other thing that we didn't talk about that you want to share, or a final question you have before we close the show today?
I think it's, again, going back to the lessons, because I know you asked me about before the lessons that, this whole tumor and everything that came out of it. And I really believe, and we were talking about the burnout that you experienced as well. It's like, so the lesson there for me is that you don't have to wait for something major to happen, before you start living the life that you want. You don't need a health challenge. You don't need a brain tumor. You don't need to burn out. Just literally make the deliberate decision to start crafting the life that you want now. Not in 20, 30, 40 years time when you retire, and that life, your work can be part of that. I love my work. I love what I do. So it energizes me. So I don't see it as I do my work and then I live my life. I see the two together, but it allows me to live the kind of life that I want. So my passion, my plea for anybody listening to this, and if you're not living the kind of life that you want now, start making the steps today. What one thing can I change today? What can I do differently today? What job do I need to leave? What business do I need to start? Who do I need to reach out to and have a conversation with? But there's one thing you can do today that will take you towards the life that you want. So please do it.
I love it. I love it so much. Thank you so much, Mildred, for being here today. Again, if you want to speak to Mildred, reach out. If you want to talk to me, reach out to me, send me a DM. It was amazing. And I'm celebrating with you that you are 2 years cancer-free and celebrating life, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. 2 years brain tumor. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.